So I'm a two-time college dropout, and there's no rhyme or reason for me to be driving a $100,000 car and a $15,000 Rolex on my wrist. But I'm going to show you in this video exactly why it makes sense for me to make these types of purchases and why you can do the exact same thing and how to do it the smart way. What's up, everybody? My name is Henry Eisenstein. If you don't know who I am, I've been a part of over $400 million worth of real estate transactions, and I'm only 28 years old. And again, in this video, I'm going to talk about how to make stupid investments. So things like a car, a wristwatch, or the fancy belts and all that kind of stuff, I want to understand. It is okay to make these types of purchases, but I'm going to tell you how to do them. With my car, it was about $100,000 all said and done, with all the warranties and everything that I ended up paying for, so you can hate me for the warranties or whatever, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Where I made the decision on this is that the car itself, I wanted to buy because it was something that I was passionate about. I'm a huge car guy. Let's just first off start with, why did I choose a Corvette? Well, first and foremost, I've driven just about every single possible, supercar out there. Lamborghinis, Ferraris.
You name it, right? I've driven it.
Honestly, none of them really tickled my fancy, just to say the least. They were cool. They were fun, super fun to drive, but honestly, I don't feel like spending between $300,000 and $500,000 for a car that basically this car does all the same stuff, right? And for me, I drive a ton, and driving a Lambo, especially in Jersey with huge potholes, it's just a lot easier for me to make sense of buying something like a Corvette, which does a lot of the same stuff, looks super awesome. I can drive it through a pothole and I can care less about changing some tires and rims, so it just doesn't bother me, right? Also, when you're buying a $500,000 supercar, at the end of the day, it's just to be blunt, the people who you see them driving those types of cars, the kids that you see driving those cars, I'm just going to be honest with you, there's only two people who drive those cars. Number one, the people who paid in absolute cash, are the people who typically rent them. Typically, if you're seeing somebody who's driving them and they look young, they typically either they bought it in cash because they're actually crushing it, or they're renting them, and it doesn't make any sense to me, right? I'm not going to drop $500,000 on a car in this market where I could just buy more investment properties. That doesn't make any sense, right? Now let's talk about how I bought it. I said to myself, I would not buy any type of car like that, sports car of any type of matter, or a $100,000 car for whatever, just for quick layman's terms, right? I would not buy a $100,000 car until my passive income not only met, but superseded whatever my stupid investments would be, right? So if I wanted to spend $2,000 a month on a car for a car payment, I had to make somewhere between $6,000 and $10,000 a month in passive income, 3 to 5 times as much. Now, I'm also a huge fan of if I want to do something really, really stupid, Grant Cardone says this, if you can't buy it twice over with your passive income, you shouldn't buy it. I don't think you have to wait to buy a car that's, for $100,000 for a car. I don't think you have to wait till you're making $200,000 a week in passive income. I think that's stupid. But I do believe that, for really stupid things, again, if you want to buy a Lamborghini, if you want to buy, a Richard Mille watch and, spend $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 or something extra, ridiculous. Yeah, I do believe you should have some crazy good passive income in there, right? You should probably be able to afford it just with your passive income. Because even if you're making $1 million a year, right? I make over $2 million a year now. For me to spend, $100,000, on a wristwatch is idiotic for me. I'd rather do that when my passive income is over $1 million, $2 million bucks. So for those of you watching and you want to make stupid choices like buying a Rolex or all that other stuff, I will show you exactly how to do it in the following, quick synopsis. So how do you get passive income to this point? The interesting thing that I feel like is taught completely backwards is that you don't shoot for passive income first. Passive income is secondary. Get your active income as high as freaking possible, where you still can live a life that you desire. And yes, I'm going to say there's going to be a period of time of sacrifice. What I suggest, though, is that you go through a period of time of sacrifice. When I went through 3 years of working 100-hour work weeks to build up a business where I make $100,000 a month, over $100,000 a month now. But it's it took me 3 years of sacrifice to 3 years of 100-hour work weeks to get there. I was willing to go through that, because now I have, a blueprint of how to make over $100,000 a month in active income. And by the way, I just want you to understand something. If you're only making $50,000 right now, and you want to know how to go to 100 or 500 or $1 million, and you're not willing to invest in yourself, I'd probably start there. Whatever you can to enhance your skill set so that you can be paid more for what you do now, or you transfer careers and you find something that you can make a lot of money doing, and just focus on one thing for an extended period of time and willing to go through a period of sacrifice so you can get your active income as high as possible. Step number one, again, improve your mindset, your actions, your skill sets, so that you can make a lot of money actively, which is call it your 9 to 5, your active income, what you're doing on a daily basis to earn money. Once you get your active income to a great point, what you're then going to do is you're going to work on the savings category, making sure that again, because don't get me wrong, active income's number one, and I want you to save money while you're on your rise, but I want you to understand, it's incredibly important to save a lot of money. If you make a lot of money but you don't save anything, you could still be poor. You make $1 million a year, but you spend $1 million, you spend $950,000 and you're only left stuff at 50 G's at the end of the day. I know people who do this, but I'm telling you, once you make a lot of money, I'm telling you, it will change things. If you can learn on how to save money now, once you make a lot of money, learn how to save now a lot of that money so that you can invest it to create the passive income, that's where this will all turn into something magical. You're not gonna make 50 grand a year and then have a ton of passive income. It just doesn't make any sense. You can invest passively, but it doesn't make any sense. Rather you invest in you until your active income is at a few hundred grand, a million, a few million, right, or more, so that you can invest a lot more. Like, because the David Ramsey crap where you like invest $100 a month or a week or something for 65 years and then eventually you retire with $1 million in the bank that pays you 50 grand a year. You might as well have just invested the money in yourself so you can learn how to make more money. That would support you. First, work on your active income, which goes from skill sets, mindset, or active activities, right? So you can make more money. Learn how to save a lot of it. And then based on the amount of money that you can save, invest a great portion of that money into things like real estate and things like the stock market, crypto. I don't care what you do. I mean, I'm a huge real estate guy. So like I invest in real estate, brings in 20,000 plus a month right now. I have decent passive income right now where like I don't have to work so hard to make that type of money. Like my passive income continues to come in. So, and that's just one of the several sources I have for passive income. We're like, I want you to understand something. Here's the really interesting part. I want to make sure I get through your heads. I focused on my active income first. I didn't do anything passive. Zero passive activities until my active income was over $500,000 a year. Until I was making $50,000 a month. What the heck am I investing? It doesn't make any sense. Obviously, you don't have to make $500,000 a year to buy real estate, but I'd recommend that you buy a small multifamily that you live in one of the units and you do an FHA loan or something where you can get your feet wet. You don't have to buy a ton of property when you're only making 50 or 100 grand a year. That's okay. You buy your first property, you live in it, and then you work on your active income for the next 2, 3, 4 years so you can get your active income so high that you can go out and buy a lot more property. There's a process here, right? Like you just follow the process, repeat and recycle, right? Like it's just the same exact thing over and over again. The process for most people, what they do is that they're making 100 or 200,000 a year and they go,
oh, I'm making 20,000 bucks a month or something like that. I'm gonna go buy a supercar.
And then they go buy a $3,000 a month payment car, which makes absolutely no sense. And then their active income slows down because they stop investing in themselves, so they stop doing all the right things that got them there. And then all of a sudden they can't afford the car anymore. Where it's like that car, I could pay cash for it, but I don't want to pay cash for it because I'd rather use my money to invest in more properties so that I can have more passive income so I can buy another car. That's the process. When you want to buy stupid stuff like the Rolex watches and the cars, I suggest that at first you work on the passive income. So learn to save a lot of it, learn to save a large portion of it, right? Because if you can actually live on less than 20% of your income every single month, it will make saving a lot easier, right? So, and I'm probably around 35-ish% on every dollar that I make currently, right? So like we live a pretty extravagant lifestyle. Like, you know, we spend a quite deal of money. You know, we like to travel and, you know, I like to have nice stuff, but I live on 35% of my money, right? So it's like I get to save almost 2/3 of my income every single month, which is great. So I live on a very small portion of what I make. I save a lot of that. And then I will invest a large portion of that so that I can continue growing the passive income now, right? Because that's what it's all about. So again, you want to buy the stupid stuff. It starts with your active income. You get that to a high point, learn to save a lot of money so you can invest in passive income creating assets, things like real estate. Last thing I'm going to say to you guys is listen, go out and enjoy your life. Life is too short for you not to go out and buy the stuff, but you do it in the right order. If you have the passive income right now, and it's truly passive stuff from real estate type-esque investments, go out and buy it. Like it's not going to change your life. Right? And there's only so much you can invest where you're not going to enjoy, like what are you just not going to enjoy your money? I love traveling. I'm not going to not travel. I enjoy traveling, right? I love cars. I'm not going to not buy the car, right? So it's like I've learned in my life that life is too short for me to like make a ton of money and not enjoy it. So I'm going to go buy nice stuff. I'm going to have nice dinners. I'm going to enjoy my money, but first is the investing. I get to enjoy after I do the right things when it comes with my money. And the more smart things I do with my money, the more fun things I get to do. If you like to go buy stupid stuff, make sure that you work on your active income so you can go do a lot of fun stuff and besides that, guys, I love and appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.